we need to talk about Jerome Powell's Fed speech at Jackson Hole. We could talk about the 40-year mortgage. And heck, why not? Let's talk about Goldman Sachs and the U.S. government shutdown. Well, this is the daily financial news for Friday, August 25th. And why not just start with Jerome Powell? And I'll have more to say on this as we get through the daily financial news for Saturday and Sunday. But let me just say, I was pleased with Jerome Powell's speech, his demeanor, and his words. I think there's a lot of folks that kind of heard Jerome Powell's speech and thought hawkish. In fact, I will go as far as to say this is the Jerome Powell speech that, frankly, I've been waiting for. I have been waiting for, and you can go back and watch on the playlist, for Jerome Powell to come out and talk tough, but really lay out a path for a pause. And that's what I believe we got on Friday. I know a lot of folks are saying there's another rate hike coming. I don't believe it. If I'm wrong, I will own it. I will, of course, wear the shirt, swing and a miss. But let me call it right now. I think Jerome Powell is talking tough on purpose. He doesn't want the market to hear pause. So he is doing everything he can. So these are some of the notes I have from Powell's speech, which I heard once on Friday and actually listened a couple more times over the weekend. Basically, he did hit loan growth. Loan growth has slowed. I didn't really hear anybody talking about this. Signs of the job market normalizing, wage growth slowing, real wage growth as inflation is falling, right? This whole nominal versus real wage growth. He did highlight that rates could remain elevated for longer. I stand by my call that no rate cuts in 2024. He does talk about economic growth and stable. Wow, hard to talk this morning. Will cut into inflation and move substantially down the objective. Basically saying he sees the numbers coming in good, but he can't declare victory. The goal is still 2%. The policy is restrictive. They don't know by how much, though. Lags could be coming. The job is hard. If we do too much or too little, it's going to hurt. So again, he's highlighting that a raise or a pause is on the table. But I do believe what Jerome Powell, where'd that come from? Jerome Powell indicated that, again, he's talking tough and no more rate increases. I was a little disappointed, other than the really quick comment on loan growth. There was really no banking discussion. Again, I think you've heard Jerome Powell talk about kind of not my job, so maybe that makes sense. They are ready to proceed carefully. I do find it very curious that Jerome Powell talked about 3 types of inflation. If you've been on this channel for a while, you know we've talked about them as well. There is goods inflation, think stuff. There is housing, think shelter. And then there are services, housing, think wages. These are things we've been talking about for a year. I do believe the housing data will start to get better shortly. So there we go. I saw a couple of things out on Friday that were interesting. There's talk of a 40-year mortgage. I want to be clear, not really a huge fan. I think it sends the wrong message, frankly. We just need time to get through this. We need wages to go up. We need rates to come down. We just need to work through the broken housing market. In fact, we don't need more demand. Everything I keep seeing is more demand, more demand, more demand. And on top of that, I don't know if you saw this, but Zillow, yes, the one and great Zillow has announced a 1% down program. Now, folks, just in case you aren't aware of this, Rocket Mortgage did this. UWM did this. States are doing it. I think Texas did a similar program. Again, more demand. A lot of these programs, and I would argue most of them, or if not all of them, have pretty restrictive requirements. I actually think Zillow is making a mistake. What Zillow is essentially doing is getting incoming demand to go up. It's going to create a lot of busy work, i.e. a lot of expense or cost, and probably not a lot of new loans. So you absorb costs, maybe you get some practice. I don't know. But yeah, if you're not actually exiting with a loan, I don't know if it's worth it. So talking about Texas, I did get somebody shared a tweet with me on Friday. Texas down payment assistance program 5.625, no down payment. You must be a first-time home buyer, and your household income must be below 103,000. Let's talk about Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs is highlighting that they believe a U.S. government shutdown is more likely than not at the end of September. Folks, this is exactly why Fitch downgraded U.S. debt. We have a government that is probably never been more split or divided. I don't know, at least not in my adult lifetime. But it is reason to be cautious for sure. So interesting. We did get some earnings. We got Nordstrom. They beat top line, beat bottom line, even though sales fell 8.3% year on year. Gap missed on revenue, but beat on earnings, plus a weak forecast. And then Workday beat top line, beat bottom line. I did find it interesting. NVIDIA CEO, I saw a couple of quotes from the conference call. I did not listen to the conference call. Basically says that there is a new computing paradigm. And obviously, NVIDIA is at the forefront, right? They are gobbling up market share as competitors undoubtedly come from the wood to try to create something similar. So it will be very, very interesting. Anything else? Nope. That's what I got for you, folks. Again, I thought Jerome Powell's speech on Friday is exactly what I've been looking for. He talked tough. People heard tough. People heard higher for longer. But he gave plenty of avenues for a pause coming. And I think that's exactly what we will get going forward. Thank you very much. Take care. Like, subscribe, comment. Take care.